Righty then, I've had quite a few messages just asking if I can make a quick video, well, simple video should I say, about how we do our mortar. This is a perfect mix really, because this is our most common mix. We use it for most of our sort of dry stone effect projects where the mortar's not showing. It's obviously on the back. It's a 6-to-1 mix, 2 different types of sand. You've got a ginger sand, which is just basically like building sand, which normally comes sort of like pale or yellow. You can get yellow sand as well, but we use ginger sand and grit sand. So ginger is ginger in colour, obviously just sand, and then grit is just basically like building sand, and it's just got tiny little bits of grit in it. Just helps with strength and stuff, and look as well. It looks lovely when you brush up a pointed wall. You've got a bit of grit in the mix. It's lovely because you can see the little stones throughout the wall. But yeah. So anyway, so we're going to do that. So obviously 6-to-1 basically means 6 parts sand to 1 cement. Obviously we do 3-3, so still 6 parts sand to one cement. We just use a shovel, so we just heat the shovel. That's obviously 1. And then so we do the same with the cement. We keep the cement in that tub because it's so much easier than working out of a bag. And yeah, so we just obviously empty the cement into the box. Jobs are good. And so yeah, you can use buckets, use whatever you want, but anyway, you get the drift. So anyway, what we normally use is obviously the sand, trusty shovel. So we've got an old beauty here, our cement mixer. I advise using one of them. You can do it by hand, but you might be there a while, but depends what you're doing really. Obviously cement tub, and on top there is a feb. Well, we call it feb, but it is known as like a concentrated mortar plasticizer. And basically what that does is just really makes your mortar nice and workable. Obviously you don't really have to use it with stonework. It just helps as well because it just stops things like cracking. Mainly it's for workability, so it makes your mortar nice and workable. It does say basically you fill up one of these caps and it does like a big barrel of water, but to be honest with you, we don't really measure this out. We just literally tip it in the water. Zaki's saying the water as well. I'll show you in a minute anyway, but we just pour the water in, put a drip of feb in, and that's it really. Not too much. You put too much of this stuff in, you are going to have soup for a minute. That's all you need. And obviously a barrow or like a trug or a bucket or something to obviously transport the cement from there to wherever you're working. Right, as I said, don't really measure out the water. Just whack it in. Like if I was probably going to say it's probably about, I don't know, 3/4 of a bucket. With the feb as well, the plasticizer, literally just plop. Oh, another little drip. Couple of drips basically. Imagine a teaspoon. Lovely job to start you up. So it's good as well, let the water and the feb just mix around for a bit. The water will start going bubbly. I'm not going to face the mix around this way either because you tend to get covered with splashes. There's not much to see in there anyway, to be honest with you. You can use fresh water if you want, spring water, bottled water, whatever you like. I don't know if you can sort of see there, it's just starting to go a bit frothy. We're doing a 6-to-1, so it's 3 ginger, 3 grit, 1 cement. I like starting with the grit, because especially when you're mixing up throughout the day, put the grit in first. Because it's got a tiny little bit of grit on it, it just helps clean the side of the mixer. So we don't measure it out, just nice and heat. A good thing to do as well, don't rush it, don't just chuck everything in, and because a lot of it will stick towards the back of the drum. Just give it time to mix. Might just add a drip of water, because what I do as well, I do a double mix. So obviously it equates to 12 to 2. We got the sand in there now, the 3-3. So obviously now I'm going to add the cement. You can sort of see now it's really starting to bind and come together. Right, so add the cement. Now that is one complete mix, but we do 2 loads. So what I do is just obviously do exactly the same process again. But what I do like doing, when you're doing 2, so obviously I finish with the cement, obviously put the sand in first, then finish with the cement. I'm actually going to put the next mix's cement in first. Key is with the water as well is add it slowly, because if you add too much it will just literally splash right out again. But then you've got the risk of obviously making it too wet and obviously, you know, turning it into soup. So you're better off just letting it work as well. The more you play with it, the wetter it gets. But you can sort of see what that mortar was like after making the first mix, and obviously how much water you put in. You are going to add it, but you know, it's best to add it slowly, just let it really knock through. It gets to a point where it literally goes to glue and it starts like sticking up the top of the barrel. That's just time to basically add a bit more sand. So that's the ginger sand in now. So just let that mix up for a few minutes, and then obviously I'll add my my last 3 scoops of grit sand. Gonna add a touch of water. Find as well with ginger sand it's so dense as well, so you just need to knock it, you know, it needs knocking up for a while. Ginger sand's sticky. All right, let's give that a check. To be honest with you, for safety reasons you shouldn't put your hand in the mixer, but that's what it's like at the minute. So obviously I like it, so basically it leaves a print on your gloves so it's wet, but then it's still, but if you look in there you can still see ginger not mixed up. That's what you get with ginger, you've got to leave it a while. It does take a while to proper knock around, like, because the last thing you want is streaks or, you know, not a fully mixed mix. It's the first one in the morning as well, it takes a while. It's a good chance to finish your morning coffee. What that gritting. So I've left that for a few minutes now. As you can sort of see, it's become one, which is actually quite vital, I think, anyway. The last thing you want is when you tip it out, you get a load of dry, crumbly stuff at the back, like, which isn't mixed. It's just, yeah, terrible. Grab a little bit and there you go. That's what you want. Beautiful. Wet. You see, it's still wet, makes my glove wet, but there's no ginger. It's all mixed in. Lovely. It's like putty. Play-doh. Righty. Let's get you out. You're looking good. Always get a bit excited about the first mix of the day, you know what I mean? It sets the tone, you see. And once you tipped it out, I don't like banging out the mixer. I don't like banging it out just in case you get any loose bits of sand or cement or whatever that go into the barrel. But vital rule, always put water. When you finish, when you tipped it out, always let water splash around the mixer for like a few minutes at least. Give it a little bang on the bonnet. On the edge, a little scrape. Always be careful. I've heard stories of like blokes putting shovels and that in the mixer to try and beat the mortar away from the back, and like it's caught onto the paddles that are obviously inside the mixer barrel, and that's obviously just twisted it really quick and like broke their arm. So do take care. Leave that mixing for a few minutes, and yeah, jobs are good. And got some lovely, beautiful muck, and start the day. Start the day and get building. Lovely. What you want. What you want. Let's go crack on.